If you've ever said, I eat so healthy, I don't know why I'm not losing any weight, then this video is for you. Maybe you feel like you barely eat anything and the scale refuses to move. Or maybe you're on the flip side of that and you're trying to gain weight, but no matter how many bowls of rice and beans you put away, the scale will not budge. You're not the only one, and honestly, this is probably one of the most common things that we see in our coaching practice. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Danny Taylor, co-owner of VeganProteins Online Coaching, and today we are going to be talking about something that comes up again and again and again, and that is this idea of calorie density. So we've all been in one of those situations before where either you're trying to lose weight and it's just not working, or you're trying to gain weight and it's just not working, or maybe even both. And the fact of the matter is that all foods, even healthy ones, are going to have different levels of caloric density, which is basically going to be just a calculation of calories per gram of food. And whether we like it or not, all weight loss and all weight gain comes down to an energy balance. Are you burning more calories than you're consuming? Yes, then you'll lose weight. Are you consuming more calories than you're burning? Yes, then you're going to gain weight. So the point being that you can absolutely load up on really healthy foods and still gain weight. Or if you're trying to gain weight and all you're eating is whole foods, you might be too stuffed to actually reach the point where you're eating in a caloric surplus. Today, I'm really excited because we have all 5 of the VeganProteins coaches together in a very rare moment where we are all going to get to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're a vegan who's trying to lean out or build muscle or just feel better in general, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we put out new videos every week with recipes, meal plans, tips, tricks, and educational videos like this one. But before we get into that, you guys know we don't do sponsored videos on this channel at all. And here at VeganProteins, we don't usually run sales or specials or anything like that, except during Black Friday. So we just launched 2 days ago our Vegan Macro Kickstart Kit. This is our Black Friday special this year, and it's a bundle of some of our services all together so that you can get set on the right track to start working towards your goals before the new year without having to go through all the rigmarole of one-on-one coaching. So what's in this Macro Kickstart Kit? Well, first, you will be emailed a long questionnaire that you'll fill out with information about yourself, pictures, measurements, things you like, things you don't like, what's your schedule like, etc. And one of the coaches will custom calculate macros for you to start using to work towards those goals. And they'll also send you a coaching video with other tips and ideas based on the stuff that was in that particular questionnaire. And that can be very, very helpful in terms of setting you on the right path. We're also going to include 5 of our full meal plans taken straight from our Muscles by Brussels membership. I know that you guys love these. They are super, super popular. And I picked some of our best fall and wintry ones for you guys because it fits the time. Each of these has recipes to make 7 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, desserts, and includes the full shopping list. And we haven't done anything where we physically send you something in a long time, but we will mail you a signed copy of my book, Flexible Dieting for Vegans. This is a 150-page book that basically teaches you how to be your own diet coach, being able to incorporate foods that you love in a way that hits your goals, whether that is to build muscle, lose fat, or body recomposition. So even though this is flexible dieting for vegans, you don't actually have to be vegan to glean a ton of information from this because it's the exact strategy that I use when I'm working with all of our clients. And we're also gonna throw in some extra goodies in that little envelope when it's on its way to you. So the value of this kit is $400, but we're doing it for over 50% off for Black Friday at $197, but we can only do 50 of them because the coaches actually have to do work on each one of these for you guys because it's custom, so we can only do so many. If you want that, go ahead and get one below because they will sell out. So let's get into talking a little bit more about volumetrics. The easiest place that I can think of to describe volumetrics is actually to look at fruit. Fruit is very healthy. I don't think anybody would argue that, but there is a wide variety in caloric density between all of the different fruits. They're not created calorically equal. So here we have 46 grams of dates, 140 grams of banana, and 454 grams of strawberries. In each of these plates is the exact same amount of calories. Now, if you look at them, which one do you think is going to fill you up more? It's definitely the strawberries. So if you're looking to lose weight, you might want to pick something closer to that end of the spectrum, whereas if you're looking to gain weight, put on muscle, you might want to throw some extra dates in things. Let's take a look at another comparison here. So I actually couldn't do a direct calorie comparison. We have cauliflower rice and regular cooked white rice here. The cooked rice is 1 cup and it is 205 calories. And on the other side, we have 3 cups of cauliflower rice, and that comes in at only 75 calories. The reason I couldn't show a direct calorie comparison is because I didn't have 9 cups of cauliflower rice to show you, and that's a little bit ridiculous. But you could see how if somebody was looking to kind of bulk up their lower calorie meal plan, incorporating something like cauliflower rice could really help fill their stomach and tide them over to their next meal a bit better than something that's more dense. Now let's take a look at some fats here. So all foods fall somewhere along the volumetric spectrum in terms of how much food you get for how many calories. But the densest food out there that you could possibly consume is oil. So this is why so many people recommend cutting out oil when you're on a fat loss journey. Now, I don't think you have to cut out oil 100%, but it is certainly something to be mindful of when you are trying to keep your calories in check. Here we have 1.5 tablespoons of oil that is equal to 120 grams of avocado in terms of calories. Both of these are 180 calories. You can tell which one is definitely going to be the more satiating choice. The last quick comparison I have here is you could have 4 Boca burgers for less than the calories of 1 Impossible Indulgent burger here. 4 of them. That is absolutely crazy. Why anybody would choose this Impossible burger is beyond me. So these are just a few examples. Like I said, all foods fall somewhere on the volumetric scale, and it's a good idea to get acquainted with what foods fall where if changing your physique is part of your goal. Now let's get into some real-world meals that are higher calorie and lower calorie from each of the coaches.
Hey guys, my name is Alice Robinson. I'm a coach at VeganProteins and I'm a pro bikini bodybuilder. Today we're coming at you with some comparisons for trying to figure out which foods are heavier, which foods can be a lighter swap. So we've got 2 different breakfasts here. They both look to be about the same size, but really different calories. It's surprising. So over here we've got some puff corn, some sliced strawberries, and some almond milk. It's about 1.33 cups of almond milk. And on this other side we have some crackling oat bran cereal, my favorite freaking cereal ever, a whole banana, and a bunch of raisins. Really delicious. And this is soy milk, about same amount, about 1.33 cups of soy milk. So the difference is going to surprise you. This was 193 calories for the puff corn dish, and this is 840 calories for the crackling oat bran bowl. They're both really healthy foods. That's the thing. Like, all of this is really healthy. The cereal has a little bit of extra sugar in it, but all things considered, you know, it's mostly bran and coconut, right? So just because it's a whole food doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be super low calorie. So you always gotta keep that in mind when you're making these decisions. One thing that you wanna take note of is the caloric difference in the different fruits that we have in these 2 different bowls of cereal. So the sliced strawberries are going to be really voluminous. Any kind of berries at all, any kind of melons at all, you can have a lot of food for a very little amount of calories. That's why we call it a voluminous food. And then certain fruits like dates, bananas, grapes, and raisins, those are going to be on the more caloric dense side. So basically, a much smaller serving is going to contain a lot more calories. So not all fruits are created equal in that way calorically. Even though they're all very good for you, they're going to add up to a lot different for your calorie total of the day.
All right, guys, I have a mid-morning snack here, and they look very similar, much like everything else we've shown you so far, but they are very different in size. So clearly I got hungry and took a bite out of this one. But You can see the difference in the size between these pieces of bread. Even though they're essentially the same, this one's about twice the calories. And then to top it, this is 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, while this is about an equal amount of reconstituted PB2, which is powdered peanut butter. So they taste very similar, but huge calorie difference. One more thing I want to talk about that a lot of people don't mention is this is just a mid-morning cup of coffee here. This one has a 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons of a creamer. That is, where is it? I thought we grabbed it. Damn it, slouch again. And like magic, she has it. So this is a coffee cake flavored oat milk creamer. Nothing fancy, just a pretty basic one. 25 calories per tablespoon, whereas this one has a 1/4 cup of just plain unsweetened soy milk. They're both equally as creamy, but this one's gonna save about 60 calories. This one's 20 and this one is 100. But all together, this snack right here is 125 calories and this one is 400. So that's a really huge difference between these two. And that's not to say that anything over here is bad for you. I mean, maybe you're somebody who's actually looking to put on some size. You can actually be looking at some of our denser calorie meals to help you get in calories if you're finding that maybe you're a new vegan and you're just feeling full all the time, you're noticing your weight is dropping. You want to focus on more dense foods. So you can go ahead and pay attention to those ones in this video here.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Sawyer with the calorie comparison. So here we've got 2 bowls. One has white rice, green beans, oil, and super firm tofu. The other one has rice, cauliflower, green beans, avocado, and Morningstar chicken strips. If you had to guess, what would you say the difference between these in calories are? Because at first appearance, they look pretty similar, right? About the same amount of food, probably get about the same amount of fullness. But one of them has 411 calories and the other one has 743 calories for the same amount of fullness. So it's really important to keep this in mind when you're selecting your foods because small choices can make a big difference. Like the biggest difference here is being made by the rice cauliflower, but also probably the fat source as well. So those are probably the biggest factors in this bowl. So the oil is here for if you were to do like a stir fry or cook your tofu in oil or something like that, or oil pan fry your green beans. This stuff can add up pretty quickly, and if you're not careful, it can add a lot of extra calories to a dish.
What's up everybody, this is 𝐤𝐵𝐿𝐫𝐿. I'm a co-owner here at VeganProteins and I am one of the coaches. And this is the kind of stuff that I obsess over for my clients because there is this fear that you won't be able to have more than enough food on your plate and enjoy yourself while still reaching your goals and meeting your needs. And this is a prime example of what that looks like. Here you have 2 plates that look almost exactly alike. However, this plate right here is 290 calories, and this plate right here is 743 calories. Can you believe that? However, if you're looking at the 2 of these, right, and you usually eat with your eyes first, you're gonna say to yourself, both of these plates look equally as enjoyable. What you put on them, though, makes a world of a difference. Take a look at the spaghetti squash over here compared to the sweet potato. Now, these are 2 seemingly similar starchy vegetables. However, one is way more calorically dense than the other. Over here, you have your greens, and everyone loves green beans. Everyone loves avocado too. However, you can get a lot more green beans and you can get your nutrients in that way as opposed to having an avocado here in this little itty bitty portion. Now, finally, this one is a kicker. This one is so ridiculous. So you can get 2 Boca burgers, right? Or you can get 1 indulgent Impossible Burger with a whopping 27 grams of fat. It's like going to a fast food joint and saying, I'm gonna get the salad. But in reality, you might as well have ordered the Whopper because they're about the same calorically by the time you start adding all of the things into the salad. So check it out, just like that, you can eat just as much and have just as much on your plate and be equally satisfied with 290 calories versus 743 calories. And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, Boca burgers are vegan. There are non-vegan and vegan versions of them, so you can enjoy and indulge guilt-free.
Hey everyone, Coach Ben here, and I'm going to be talking to you about some swaps if you are looking for a more calorie conscious snack. So popcorn. A lot of us think of popcorn and they might think of movie theater popcorn and think, hey, this is not healthy. This is something that is off limits. I can't have it. But in reality, popcorn is a really great tool that is satiating. It's got a lot of fiber. It pops up. So if you make it at home, this is the key. You want to make it at home or find a low fat variety of popcorn that you can microwave. So making it at home, maybe using like a little bit of spray oil, but pretty much just keeping it to the popcorn kernels themselves. You get yourself a nice air popper and you get a ton of volume. As you can see here, it takes a while to eat. You can put salt flavorings on it that are low calorie. Enjoy that in the evening as you kind of wind down. People like to have a snack. People like to have something to kind of sip on here. And then, and speaking of stuff to sip on, I have this 𝐬𝐫𝐞, which is a 0 sugar soda that's sweetened with stevia. And so this whole snack right here comes out to 180 calories. Now, over here, we have potato chips, just your standard potato chips, which again, people would have as a snack. I think most people are probably going to eat a little bit more than this little bowl, right? You can see the difference here between this massive bowl of popcorn and this little bowl of chips. And then we have a juice. And don't get me wrong, juice is healthy. It's got fruits, it's got vegetables in it, but it often has a lot of added sugar in addition to that. And it doesn't always provide the caloric value that you would think. You would think, okay, juice, probably low calorie as well. But in reality, again, a lot of them have a lot of sugar or things added to them. So this over here on the left is 390 calories. So 180, 390. You can see the actual volume difference between these two. So just something to keep it in mind when you're snacking, the difference between certain options and how full they're going to leave you feeling.
All right, everybody, well, I hope that was helpful. Which of the meals was most surprising to you? I know which one was to me, but I'm curious to hear yours. Is there anything that you learned from this that you might make a tweak going forward? If you're looking for any kind of one-on-one coaching, that's what we do here at Vegan Proteins. That's what we've been doing for 17 years and over 2,500 vegan athletes at this point. If you're looking to burn fat, build muscle, work with a coach one-on-one, I'll leave the assessment down below and you'll hear back from one of the coaches within a business day. Or if you want just a little taste of what one-on-one coaching is like, you can go ahead and pick up our Black Friday special, the Vegan Macro Kickstart Kit down below. They will sell out, so check it out. If you have any questions, you can always shoot us an email. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Now it's filming you. You look like Bo Burnham.